distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends and...
Just record.
Yeah, we good. What's up, family? My name is Brother Ray. We'd like to welcome everyone to the BK History Club. But first and foremost, good to see everybody on the Zoom platform. Thank you for supporting the BK History Club. And for the people that's out here that came out in this cold to support a live lecture, give yourself a great big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, we meet every other Wednesday in honor of the great Bill Mackey, Dr. Professor Amos Wilson, Mackey's original member, Brother Assad, miss him, Gil Noble, H. Rap Bound, Jamil Alameen, El Haj Malik El Shabazz, the late great attorney at law, Alton Maddox, Minister Khalid, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Professor George Simmons, Runoko Rashidi, and all the historians who gave her fame and fortune, and in honor of the United African Movement, and Miss Leola Maddox, who drove a moderately old car, not a moderately new car, all the way from Teaneck, New Jersey, because she believed in the live lectures, and she used to eat her dinner in the United African Movement. She went beyond the call of duty, and it's always good to come out. And what's our friend named Truss, who would come from Jersey, who was in the hospital? Anouni, yeah. Anouni, who left us too soon, and he would come from Newark, and I would walk him to the train station. He never made an excuse about making the lecture. These are the people that went beyond the call of duty. So we never want to forget George Simmons, Dr. Clark, all of them. They gave up a lot, and they could have drunk the Kool-Aid. And they did. And they paid a big price of bringing the truth. So we never want to forget these people. So I'm going to mention some books. They're for the listening audience. Like them or not, you get them. And you read. If you ever went to Mackey and Clark's house, they had so many, Professor Mackey had books all in the bathroom. Everywhere. So I'm going to name some books that you could get in honor of Dr. Ben in this classic, Black Man of the Nile. And he goes into how they built the hieroglyphics, those great civilizations. Dr. Ben. We never want to forget. Also, African slavery in Latin America and the Caribbean. Slavery was all over the place. They dropped us off everywhere. So when you talk about reparations, you got to do it globally. So this is an excellent book. Also, Sister Tyreen Wright, The Making of a Pan-African, Booker T. Washington. A lot of people have something to say, but I read this book and there's a lot of information on Booker T. Taught people how to make bricks and everything. And we do not have a brick factory nowhere in America. So we want to thank her for this book. Also, in honor of Cynthia McKinney, who in my personal opinion, the only one cared about the people in the state of Georgia. And on orders from white folks and black folks, she went beyond the call of duty. This book is in her honor. And they have another book. When Donald Trump mentioned shithole, S-hole countries, they got a book, How America Creates S-hole Countries. So So we don't have that book because somebody picked it up quick. But Cynthia McKinney wrote a book on how America creates S-hole countries. And this one is when China sneezes from the coronavirus lockdown to the global political economic crisis. Also, in honor of the African Echo Study Group, where our keynote speaker is the creator of it, we have Nzinga of Angola, warrior sister. And when she went to talk to the Portuguese, they wouldn't even give her a bench to sit down. And the African warriors that she had would have made a bench. And she sat down and fiercely negotiated with these barbarians. And I'm going to tell you sisters out there right now, if you read this book and see how she is and our great warrior women, these chumps wouldn't be running the game on you like they do. You'd be on the money. So we want to thank the African Echoes organization. Another book from the African Echoes and Trust Graham by Lisa M. Alexander, America, African or American, Black Identity and Political Activism in New York City, 1784 to 1861. The draft riots was 1863 when they was hanging us through the lamp poles at the Children's Museum, Black Children's Orphanage. The Irish did us in. So you look at what we were doing back in the 1700s. So this is an excellent book. First and foremost, we're going to bring the camera over to the Amos collection. And these books is the Help Sababu in African World Info Systems, my mistake. These books is the Help Sababu. And this is called the Amos collection. Blueprint for Black Power. Black on Black Violence, the psychodynamic of black self-annihilation in service of white domination. And whether we know it or not, we are still controlled by white folks. They have a lot of dictating and they control a lot of our actions. In Amos's book, The Psychodynamic of Black Self-Annihilation in Service of White Domination, talks about the psychological impact on black violence. And the white man funds these wars. They put people against each other. They're doing it now. So that's Amos Classics. The Psychology of Self-Hatred and Self-Defeat wrote a reclamation of the African mind. Sababu's latest in honor of Amos. And if you tune in to the African Echo Study Group on a Friday, they're going in depth in that series, in that book, because we hate each other. And we got a lot of work to do. Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children, African-centered consciousness versus the New World Order. And you hear a lot about the New World Order all over the TV. Klaus Schwab, all these people. But as Dr. Clark said, the first New World Order was when they brought the slaves through the European slave trade. The European transatlantic slave trade. Issues of manhood in black and white, and that's a big problem. Falsification of African consciousness. In honor of Louis Ray Rivera, Jazz in Jail, and S.K. Damiana, Distorted Truths, the Bastardization of African Cosmology. So these books we have, and they're to help Sababu in African World Info Systems. These books is to help Sababu in African World Info Systems. Keep Amos's name alive. Come on, light up. Come on. Sorry about that. These books is to help Amos and keep African World Info Systems alive. So that's an honor. And he's working overtime, burning the midnight oil for another book that's coming out in the near future. So we have another book, The Unspoken Alliance, Israel's Secret Pact with Apartheid South Africa. And whether we know it or not, Israel controls South Africa. In honor of William Mackey, the social history as seen through the users and abusers of dirt. And when you look at a concept of the umbrella, we use it because to keep the rain off of us. But in the medieval stinking times of Europe, where they had no sewer system, they threw the waste out of the window and people had an umbrella so they wouldn't get hit in the head with it. It's all documented, and Terrence McLaughlin lays it out. The book is hard to get. The great Chancellor Williams, The Destruction of Black Civilization. In that wide continent, huge, vast, that's been supplying the world for thousands of years. Dr. Chancellor Williams, in all his volumes, go into the mistakes we made as a people. We had armies, 30,000 men, 40,000 men, massive armies. But we made a lot of mistakes. And the same mistakes we make in the day were the same mistakes that were made thousands of years ago. And it also gets into the Arab slave trade. You talk about the European slave trade, but you never talk about the Arab slave trade. But if you want more in-depth discussions on this, the Know Thyself Study Group, Trust Graham's the mediator of that. That's on Saturday, and you'll get an in-depth on Chancellor Williams. In honor of Ayo Kamati, the irritated genie, 1-2 punch, Jews are the problem, and the psychology of the Jew. We want to thank the irritated genie, Ayo Kamati, for this book, these two books. Neither safe nor effective, the evidence against the CO, Dr. Carlene. One of the baddest dudes out, George Soros, funding a lot of wars, the lifetimes and trading secrets of the world's greatest investor. And I'm not talking about Warren Buffett. George Soros was and still is a bad dude, and his son is at the helm. And you read in how they took him out of Europe and the things he did, you will understand what's going on. The Shadow Party, how George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and 60s radicals took complete control of the Democratic Party, and they're showing their actions as we speak right now. Wayne Mansfield, the manufacturing of a president. The CIA insertion of Barack Hussein Obama. There's a lot of things on social media, but you better start reading some of these books, whether you like it or not. The gangs in New York. The Bloods, the Crips have nothing on the Dead Robins, the Bowery Boys. Over 400 roving gangs in the 5 Points in the early days in the creation of New York City. This Gangs in New York talks about it. One of the excellent books in the Irish. And one thing that the Irish did not, they hated how Hollywood portrayed them in this book. They did not like it. See what Lady V wants, Willie. Dope Incorporated, Dope Incorporated. They got medical marijuana all over the place. Well, George Soros is one of the guys behind this phenomenon where they got everybody selling it and everybody smoking it. Blacks, whites, Arabs selling it, everybody. They buy it on the block, you can't do nothing with them. They smoking it in front of the police. Only problem with this type of medical marijuana, you used to smoke it and start laughing at everybody and then look for a giant tuna fish sandwich. I don't see nobody laughing and I don't see nobody eating. In honor of Louis Ray Rivera, who left us too soon, and when Professor Mackey left us, Louis Ray would come down here and he would speak for hours, and Calvin, Asar, Brother Colvin, and he would talk, and he took up the mantle. When Professor Mackey left, he came down here and he would speak, and we would walk him home right to Jefferson Avenue, and then he talked for another hour and a half. Jazz in jail, Louis Ray. Donald Trump. 3 generations that built an empire. This is a almost 600-page book. And as Dr. Lewis says, his father came here with a suitcase and a dirty pair of drawers and built an empire. And Mackey and Clark and all the historians had thousands of books. So whenever you want to know about an individual, when you want to know about Thomas Jefferson and his relationship with Sally Hemings, you get the books and you read the books. So no matter what social media puts on, I bet you it's a lot of stuff in this 600-page book that they did not put on social media. Like them or not, read the books. And he's always talking about, I thought we had a deal. Well, we better come up with a deal for us, or else it's game over. An empire they own, how the Jews invented Hollywood. And when you look at this crazy nonsense of past presidents dressed up as monkeys and all that, you never looked at Birth of a Nation. You never looked at the creation of Godzilla on the Empire State Building. And how Harry Coleman, William Fox, Louis B. Mayer, Jack Warner, Adolph Sukkel, Carl Lambier disgraced black people from Birth of a Nation, and they still do it now. So when you look at stuff, you need to kind of know the history on who's really behind it. They did not like Neil Gerbler for writing this book. And it tells you how they took complete control from building theaters all over the world. And it was basically a toy. The projector was a toy. But it had a lot of power in influencing people, and they still use it now. So get this book if you're getting into the entertainment industry and you think they disrespected us with this nonsense that they put on social media. You read and see how they really destroyed our image. And they do it every day, and we even pay for it. One Nation, Whitney Webb. This is not the first one, but organized crime and Jeffrey Epstein, and you hear it all over the place. Get these 2 books. Dr. Scott Whitaker, Medicine, the Causes, Solutions, and Diseases and Malnutrition that are killing the world. In honor of Dr. Scott. The real Anthony Fauci. The stuff that went down is not going away, and we still going to a whole bunch of funerals. Capitalism on a Ventilator. In honor of Edward Dow. They got the photos. The young athletes collapsing on the field. Strong. As Mackey used to say, baddest man on the block. But they collapsing on the field, and they wondering how this happened. How can these young people all of a sudden that was living good lives, and BlackRock wanted to find out why the insurance companies wasn't paying out all this money. And then after a certain time of the year, they just started pulling out so much money, they was wondering what happened. So a brilliant Wall Street careerist joined Titan BlackRock. He added $12 billion to the growth fund he managed. So this is Edward Down on the young athletes losing their life. Ultimate Vaccine Timeline, Children's Health Defense and Robert Kennedy. They go into the historical context of vaccines, and they even go into the 1774 to the present. The Pfizer papers. They forced Pfizer and the Freedom of Information Act to come out with this book. And Moderna, they tell you what happened with the blood after taking what you took, the way the blood looks. And Pfizer wanted to hold this stuff for 75 years. But they forced them. And Moderna came out with a book. This is the blood. Moderna papers. J&J. They must have spent a lot of money because I had that book ordered and they said, no way. Without Sanctuary. Everybody's talking about reparations. They ain't read this book. The hangings. The dogs. The postcards. The hangings. They would put you in a pot of boiling hot sugar oil. And a week into this office, our new mayor got $5 million for some people that wrong was done to them for delivering food. That's a form of reparations. I wouldn't care if they got $1 each. They got something in 2 weeks. And we still trying to beg for ours. Down the CO rabbit hole. The medical pharmaceutical killing machine. Mark Sloan, the cancer industry. And he wrote a book on how they did his mother in. And Rand Paul, The Deception. So we have these books. You can get them, study them, whether you like them or not. Answers always in the books. And the great historians had books. These are some local events for people to log on to. Thorough Black Talk, Tad, Keisha, Ashe. No, Tad, Keisha. Brother Blacksmith, Sister Brooke, the Freedman Foundation, the new brother they have on there. They got an excellent Thursday show. Sister Mama, they come on every Thursday on YouTube. And they're talking about this reparation phenomenon, and they're bringing up all the crooks and the dirty low-downs who's doing stuff behind closed doors. Organizations we think is cool. Our Philadelphia Connection, Blog Talk Radio. Sister Empress Chief, Brother Lumumba, El Pollinator. Brother Moses, they come on Saturday at 10. YouTube Live. Excellent program. So that's our Philly connection, and you can call in and get in on the works. Io Kamati, Sankofa Revolutionary Radio, out of Birmingham, Alabama. WSYP 95.1. They give you a double header. 9 to 10 is Dr. Haru. 10 to 11 is the Irritated Genie. Jews are the problem and the psychology of the Jew. That's Monday mornings at 9 o'clock. Dr. Haru has some good information. Our Baltimore connection, Brother Darren Muhammad, State of the City. Sometime Wednesday, sometime Thursday. But the Saturday program is the Blockbuster. And that comes on State of the City on Instagram and YouTube, Darren Muhammad, State of the City, Baltimore. 12 o'clock is the Blockbuster program. We want to thank Darren and his brother, Brother Ebron, that's doing it up and telling you what's going on, and the Irritated Genie and his brother is running for public office in Baltimore. Every Tuesday at 7 o'clock, Dr. Aleem, your immunity program. And he gets into a lot of health information and stuff that's going on. So that's Dr. Aleem and Thursday California Radio. Our African Echoes family. Friday at 8 o'clock, Brother True, Brother Danny, Brother Trust, the moderator of that group, and that's 8 o'clock, African Echoes. And they're doing the psychology of self-hatred and self-defeat toward a reclamation of the African mind. But not only do they give you an 8 o'clock punch, they come back Saturday and hit you again with an in-depth study on Chancellor Williams. I think the 7th edition. And go into all the mistakes we made as the people. And Trust Graham is also the moderator of that group. So that's on Saturdays at 1:30. Fridays at 8 o'clock, and while everybody is shaking and baking, it's a lot of people trying to get some information. The Semotac organization with James McIntosh, Betty Dobson, they're really doing it up, going against Hollywood and these networks that's destroying our image. Small victory with the Netflix cartoon that disrespected us. Y'all should have got on board with that. You should have got on board with how they portrayed us in that movie, that cartoon series, instead of running around with this nonsense they're doing now. The UNIA, President Michael R. Duncan, and Raymond Dugal and the UNIA, they're trying their best to race first, to get our minds back. Minds included. I need a lot of work too. But they have a store, and it's a mini Jetros, and it's at 13205 Merritt Boulevard. And let me tell you, when you go in there, they're polite, they're nice, you can get all the products you want, and it's right across the street from the Home Depot or Merritt Boulevard and Burnap Street. You can pull in parking, and it's an excellent store. So the UNIA is still going full force to try to get our minds right. So we want to thank Raymond and Michael and all the members of the UNIA. And if you put race first, you really ain't got to worry about all this other stuff that's going on, but then that's another conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, these are just some community information that's going on for you to look up, to get yourself right on what's going on. So this is the BK History Club kickoff on Black History Month. We have our good friend, Brother Trust Graham, who's been a good friend of this group and an excellent compadre and friend to Bill Mackey. And he always gonna get the whole month and whatever topic he wants. I just gotta start bringing him in a little more. But I want you to give a great big hand to our speaker, Brother Trust Graham.
I appreciate that, Brother Ray. I appreciate that. Just get a little situated here. Before I get started, I would like to, in true African tradition, ask the elders in the room for the opportunity and the permission to speak. Do I have the permission?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. In African tradition, it's always to give respect, reverence, and honor to those individuals who precede us, you know, in regard to this struggle and this journey, and to make sure that we acknowledge those individuals who paid the price and pioneered the ground. So to all of the elders that are in the room, Asante Sana. To all of y'all. First of all, I want to say my name is Trust Graham, and I want to thank Ray and the William Mackey Study Group for giving me the opportunity to be with y'all this week and to formally say to everybody, Happy African History Month. Happy African History Month.
For sure.
Now, if you say Black History Month, I don't have no problem with that. Long as you acknowledge that it does exist. And for some of us, those in this particular circle, I'm pretty sure it's a 365-day, event. So I want to acknowledge African History Month. I want to also acknowledge its particular founder, Carter G. Woodson, who is also a stalwart scholar. And the lecture that I'll be giving this evening is about scholarship. Even though the name of the title of the lecture is Death of the Willie Lynch speech. Death of the Willie Lynch speech. But the significance of the lecture is about research and study. That's the name of it, the specifics, aims, goals, and objectives. Research and study. And one of the key factors in regard to why I chose this particular subject matter is because of African History Month. Because Ray just literally introduced and shared with you an array of titles of books from a variety of different sources and subject matters, which is very good. The only problem is if you don't know how to read them or consume them, they're insignificant. They're insignificant. So we have to understand that knowledge goes way beyond just knowing something. Way beyond. If I said to you, is knowledge power, what would you say? Anybody? Is knowledge power?
Yes.
Yes. Said yes.
Yes.
Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power. Listen to my lips. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is powerful. If you don't apply it, it's nothing. See this book? It has knowledge in it. If nobody reads it, it's nothing but ink and paper. So in other words, knowledge that's not kinetic, that's not applied, that's not put into action, is of no value. And one of the most important things about knowledge is being able to consume it, and consume it with a degree of skill and intelligence, and most of all, a degree of comprehension. And there's a lot of times we receive information from a variety of sources. We think we got something, but we don't even know really what we have because we don't know how to consume it. We don't know how to really digest it. We don't have to chew it up. There's a process of what is called intellectual mastication. Not intellectual masturbation, intellectual mastication. Anybody knows what mastication means?
To chew.
To chew, correct. That's masticating something. When you put food in your mouth, you chew it up in order to release the nutritional enzymes that are in the fibers of the food. That's what masticating is for. The same thing that you do with information. You masticate it, you want to chew it up. You want it go through a process of releasing the information that it has to offer for you. But if you don't know the skills or have the skills to do that, it's easy to take information and come up with the wrong conclusion. Our biggest problem with African history in the black community is our ability to circulate that information with accuracy. Accuracy plays a significant role. But that's the gist of where I'm going to be going tonight in regard to this, and I just want you to bear with me because I know that I'll touch some issues that might be of close value to you, that you might seem quite different before you leave this particular lecture. But one of the things that I do know is that, if you love black history the way I do, it's your responsibility to be the custodian, the maintenance keeper of that information. And if that is your job, then you need to get it right. The most important thing about our history is accuracy, getting it right. And it ain't no benefit in in circulating rumors, myths, untruths that have no value in our development, culture, or tradition. Sounds nice, but not true. So one of the key factors is that if you become what they call the griot, the keeper of the flame, the individual who is responsible for circulating and transmitting the information, then it is your responsibility, it is your duty to get it right. So that's what we'll be dealing with this evening. The subject matter, death of Willie Lynch, but also the primary focus is research and study. How are we going to deal with the information that we are receiving? So that's why it's important that when we deal with African history, that we look at the material based on what the evidence has to show, not what we like, not what feels good, not what looks good, but what is accurate in truth. And one of the benefits that black people have more than any other group of folks on this planet is our history is too long and too rich for us to come up with nonsense. It just don't make sense. It ain't nobody else that can compare with our level of contribution to the world. And yet we want to come up with fly-by-night nonsense that don't have nothing to do with nothing without us checking. I mean, really superficial nonsense. And the idea is that all of the historians that I know of significant value, they know the truth, and one thing they don't do is circulate nonsense. The reason that is because they understand the mechanics and they understand the trained methodology of research and study. Now in our study group, what we do is give you what I call a guerrilla approach. That means a grassroots approach to get and let your whistle be touched by a basic fundamental set of skills that you can take and use on a regular basis, but also that you can use as an introduction if you want to go to an institution, to an academy, to a school, versus just taking information and circulating it. So, I want to dedicate this particular lecture to a brother who took it upon himself to address this particular issue in a formal sense. And that is Brother Manu Ampim. Manu Ampim. M-A-N-U. Manu. Last name Ampim. A-M-P-I-M. Anybody ever heard of him? Anybody? This is his book. This is his book right here. Manu Ampim. Manu Ampim. Death of Willie Lynch speech, exploring the myth. Manu Ampim. The issue here is looking at the information for what it has to offer. So I'm going to give you a little history of my relationship with the subject matter and my relationship eventually coming across the Willie Lynch speech. And I'm pretty sure most of us have been introduced to the Willie Lynch speech. How many people have ever heard of it? Anybody here ever heard of the Willie Lynch speech? Anybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever actually read it? I ain't talking about whether you heard it. This is different. Have you read it? Don't tell me you read it and you didn't read it.
You know, they got excerpts running around.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea. That's why I'm asking the question. Because there's a difference between I read it, an excerpt in an article, or I heard somebody talk about it in a speech, but actually never read the speech. That's different. A lot of times we say, here's a good example. How many of people ever heard of Uncle Tom's Cabin? You ever heard of it?
Yes.
Have you ever actually read the book? Raise your hand if you read Uncle Tom's Cabin. Okay, that's fantastic. Two. Who wrote the book?
I don't remember the beach.
See, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is not an attack against anybody. This is not an issue in regard to. What I'm doing to you is trying to provide you with some skills in regard to research and study. And that is that one of the first things you do about any consumption of information is know where it came from and who. That's first. I don't even want to know the information until I want to know who you got it from. And second of all, whether that information that you got from that individual is legitimate. So now we know that there are two people that read Uncle Tom's Cabin, but don't know Harriet Beecher Stowe was the individual who wrote the book. Nope, okay, it's okay.
Now tell us about it.
Who was Harriet Beecher Stowe?
She was a writer.
No, not more than a writer. Come on. If she got a book named after, we all know she was a writer. Come
I
on.
think from what I can remember, she was maybe an abolitionist, a daughter of a preacher too.
Okay. Anything else? See, this is what I'm saying again. One of the key factors of research and study is knowing, one, the source from which you got the information, and also about the source. That means that if somebody told me Abdul gave me some information, wouldn't you want to know who Abdul is and what his particular aim, goal, and objective was for writing the book? But if you don't know the person, just them telling you the name ain't giving you no insight on the significance of why the book was written. So in this case here we have a book that is circulated throughout the black community. I would say that you could go to just about any classroom and ask, does everybody know about Uncle Tom's Cabin? And everybody would say yes. But if you ask them who actually read the book, we would end up with probably less than 2. But yet it's our history. It's ours. But yet we are running around telling individuals about it. How many have anybody ever heard somebody being called an Uncle Tom? Anybody ever heard that? Then raise your hand if you heard somebody being called the Uncle Tom.
Every day.
That's a compliment.
It's not a compliment if you don't know what it means. The most of the people that used that wasn't using it correctly.
Correct.
So the object is that most individuals did not read the book and don't understand what an Uncle Tom is.
That's right.
What is an Uncle Tom? Anybody? One word. All you need is one word. What is an Uncle Tom? All you need is one word to explain it or define it.
The real meaning.
One word for the definition of an Uncle Tom is called Uncle Tom equals traitor.
Trader, sell out.
Just traitor, that's enough.
That's wrong.
Now, if you read the book, then you would know that Uncle Tom wasn't a traitor.
That's right. The sample was.
And what that really represented was a particular aim at what Brother Abdul talked about earlier. Harriet Beecher Stowe attacked an attempt to champion the issue of the abolitionment of slavery. But most of us never even knew who Harriet Beecher Stowe was. much less what she did. So again, the lecture this evening is dealing with that, dealing with the issue of trying to address material that we receive that we really are not clear on. Willie Lynch. Willie Lynch. Everybody said they ever heard of Willie Lynch. Have you ever read about Willie Lynch other than that letter?
Nope.
No.
Did you ever go and try to find out?
Nope.
At least it be, this is the honest thing to do. First thing that you find out about recovery, about real recovery, is acknowledging you got a problem and then first trying to address it. Now, if you don't acknowledge that, one, like me, I already know I'm a stupid joker. I know that. I know I don't know more than I will ever know. I know that. And I'm honest enough to say it. But there's a lot of people who know nothing and think they know everything. Very little. The first thing you find out about being intelligent is acknowledging and knowing when to shut up. Most intelligent people don't say a lot. Anybody know why most intelligent people don't talk a lot? Like Einstein, you didn't see him running around talking a lot.
Very quiet.
Anybody know why? Real intelligent people spend 99% of their time thinking, not talking. They're thinking about things. No matter how minor or how big, that's what they're doing. They spend their time thinking. So if you are consuming information and you're not thinking, then you are not consuming information. You're just regurgitating words on a book or in a page. So if somebody gave you some information, it's a particular document, in this case, Willie Lynch, and they said it came from 1712. Do you know anything about what was going on in 1712? Anybody? Say that again?
Slavery.
That's funny.
The revolt in Manhattan, right?
No, that's irrespective. The issue here is 1712 was a period, a time period. Always remember this. There's no place without no time. Time and place are joined together. Einstein called it space-time, which means you can't have a time without a place. You can't have a place without a time. And when you deal with history, one of the key factors is time and place. So if we're talking about an event that took place at a certain time, in order for you to validate whether that material is true or not, you have to know about the time.
And what was going on?
That's correct. If you have no knowledge of that, they could sell you a bit of goods and you go with it no matter what, because you don't know nothing. There's a thing, one of the key factors in studying history in regard to place and time, there's a word that defines that. It's called anachronism. Anybody ever heard of it? Anachronism. Pull out your phone right now. Pull out your phone. Come on, stop. You're wasting time.
Google it.
Anachronism. Every historian that ever got a degree knows this word because he can't function without it. Anachronism.
Chronological inconsistency. Is that it?
Say it again, Wolf.
Chronological inconsistency.
The representation of someone existing or something happening.
That means
It means it has to be that out of place at a time. That's what it means. Out of place at a time. it's like saying Jesus wore Nike sneakers. That means out of place at a time. Jesus lived at a time. Nike sneakers were created at a time. They don't overlap. That's called anachronism. There are events that people say that we automatically, the first thing a historian looks at is the time and place accurate? Does it fit based on what is being said? And what we find out is a lot of material that we get loose-lipped. That means that it's circulated loose-lipped. It's not accurate. He showed you a book by a sister, Leslie Alexander, Africa or Africans. Most of y'all don't know who Leslie Alexander is. It's a powerful sister. Got real serious skills. You probably are more familiar with her sister, who is Michelle Alexander, who wrote the new Jim Crow. But Leslie, bad sister. The family bad. But the issue here is that here's an individual who understands place and time. So let's say if you wanted to know about a place like Seneca Village. This is the book.
Central Park.
Central Park.
This is the book. Yeah, but y'all talking about Central. We ain't talking about no Central Park. Forget Central Park. Ain't no Central Park exists now. What we talking about ain't no Central Park.
It was Seneca Village, right?
That's exactly. And Seneca Village represents the heart and soul of the foundation of the first settlements coming into this area of African people. Some of the first organized events and organized organizations are established during this period of time. She wrote this book in order for us to understand our particular relationship between whether we were Africans or whether we were Americans. Very important material. And the first thing you do when you do research on a subject like this to validate it is to validate its time and place and its authenticity. Its authenticity. Manu Ampim decided that he would take it upon himself to address this issue because he, as a trained historian, knew that the material wasn't true the same way I did. When I first heard it, I said, Willie, first of all, what white man who's a plantation owner in Virginia who has that much money gonna call his name Willie? Who would do that? No, that's nuh-uh. You of a particular standard of accomplishment. You don't reduce yourself to no Willie. Nobody do that. Second is that who is William Lynch? Did he live? Did he exist? Was he truly a plantation owner? We didn't even check it. We just went with it. Sound good. Sound like our condition, didn't it? And we went with it. We wrote it all the way to the bank and never checked one word of it. Let me read to you some of the material so that way you get a little idea. But my first introduction with Brother Manu Ampim was from this article. As you can see, it says Death of the Willie Lynch Speech by Manu Ampim. And this particular article, was come out of this magazine. This magazine. It's called New Generation. Now, the original, before it turned to this magazine, it was originally this magazine, which is African Business. Now, how I know, see this on the back of that? that says Nubian Heritage. And it shows all of the different locations they had. And anybody that know me know I ran Nubian Heritage.
That's right.
I ran the whole book division for the whole Nubian Heritage. So these magazines that you see here, I'm the one that brought them to this country. Because the guy who's the editor of this is from England. Deccan News is a good friend of mine. He wanted to distribute the particular publication in the States, and I was his jump off point. I had retail locations. At that time, we were wholesaling and retailing, as well as we had a publishing division. So when the magazine first came out, it looked like this, and then eventually he redid it and it came out like this. So when Manu Ampim wrote his article, he wrote it in the new generation, change, and these were the two articles that came out. They came out at two different times.
Let us see, let me put it up.
Okay, let me get that for you so you can see both of them. These are the two right here. And one of the things about this particular information was Manu, like myself, knew this couldn't be true. It just could not be true. Based on the way the material was being talked about inside the letter, the terms and terminologies that were being used wasn't 1712 terminologies. I mean, things that were just glaring, out. And then the other thing is, the most important part is that nobody of renowned stature talked about it. It's like the issue about the first black president. Y'all heard about that one now. I know. It's New York. Y'all know John Hanson, right?
He was a Moor.
He was a liar. He was no sucher. I don't know. Again, this is stuff that we take, run with, don't check, nothing.
Just get crazy.
Nothing. John Hanson, think about that. That they took a black guy, 100 midnights black, and made him president of all of the white guys.
And there's some anachronism going on there too.
Anachronism, you correct? Right. I mean, rational thinking would make you say, wait a minute. Your first thing you would say, hey, wait a minute, come on now, you gotta be kidding me here. The first thing you would say is, let me go check this. But no, we took that and ran with it. That a black man was president of the United States of America and really believe that shit. Why? Because we wanted to really believe it. We wanted to have some place, some role. We wanted to buy into all of the bull. And look, in our history, like I said, it's too long and too rich for us to buy into the bullshit. There's 8.5 billion people. Hey, 8.5 billion people on Earth. 8.5 billion. And out of them 8.5 billion, black people been on this earth about 8 billion years. 8 million, excuse me, years. 8 million. Out of those 8 million years we lived on this earth, 7,999,000 we lived in Africa. Didn't go nowhere. And then we decided to get up and move outside of the African parameters, the borders, what you would call borders. But what it represents is us being able to understand the role that we play in our own history, our own custodialship, and understanding the significance of the meaning behind that. So when we said that the president was black, the first thing you should have said, the antenna should have went up first and said, wait a minute, hold on. How did they make a black guy president? Like, why would they do that? And then second, one of the most easiest questions is that let's ask the guys who was living at the time.
That's correct.
Did Freddie Douglass ever talk about him? No.
Interesting.
Did Harriet Tubman ever talk about him? No. Did William Well Brown ever talk about him? No. Did Sojourner Truth ever talk about him? No. The greatest historian of the 20th century during that time period, W.E.B. Du Bois, did he ever mention him? Not one word.
Not a drop.
So you really think he existed? And none of the baddest folks we know in our history, in our tradition, said not one word about it. And would it be the same for William Lynch? Not one word said by Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington.
Bad boys.
None of them. How many people ever heard of George Washington Williams? One. This African History Month. African History Month, and you don't know who George Washington Williams is? We can't talk scholarship. We can't talk Freddie Douglass until we talk George Washington Williams. But yet we think we got our fingers on the pulse. There is a period in your consciousness. There's a period in your consciousness. That means, let me just say this. How many people in this room would identify themselves as being conscious? How many people would say conscious? Conscious.
We are
Okay.
We are
Okay, you conscious.
Half conscious.
Okay, now, if you say that you are conscious, that means that you don't get to say that, you know. You don't just get to say I'm conscious. The only way you get to say that you're conscious is that you are now responsible. You're responsible for the maintenance of your tradition and culture. That's what you are. When you say I'm conscious, you say, I got a job to do. And I got to fulfill that job because I'm standing on all of these shoulders. And that they expect that I'm going to live up to my what? Responsibilities. You don't get to say I'm conscious and walk away. You don't get to say I'm conscious and go watch YouTube. You don't get to say I'm conscious and sit down and watch it on TV. So what it means to be responsible means that, again, you got to be the caretaker of your own history. Not the person down the street, not Dr. Ben, not Dr. Clark, not William Mackey. You. And your ethical, moral responsibility is to get it right. You don't have no excuse. You can't tell me I've seen all these books, I met all these people, and then tell me that I still get the shit wrong. That don't work. It do not work. And our problem is that we spend too much time romanticizing with our history instead of really studying and learning from it. You can't learn unless you study. Don't assume reading is studying. It's not. Reading is one thing, studying is another. All you got to do is look up the word. I don't understand how y'all read a goddamn book and don't have a dictionary. I don't understand that. I feel that I have a little bit a grasp of vocabulary, but I know I don't know 800,000 words. I know that. And I know that 800,000 words is in damn English vocabulary. And if I didn't know that, I know one thing, I'm gonna have a damn dictionary next to me. How you gonna read about history and not have a map? How can that happen? Unless you are a seasoned topographer, a person who really understands geography, then you need a map in front of you. I swear, I don't know how people do it. But yet they tell me they understand where places are. So if I said to you right now, what does an Asian look like? If I asked you right now, say, what does an Asian look like? Could you tell me what an Asian look like?
Asians.
Can you tell me what an Asian look like? He said slanted eyes. I like that one.
Somebody, I say somebody from India or from.
But I asked you, the question is, I asked you, what does an Asian look like? If I said to you, if I asked you right now, what does an African look like?
Black.
What would you tell me?
Black.
That's impossible.
No, okay, that's impossible.
And why would I say that's impossible? Anybody want to help me out here?
You might have some white Africans.
Exactly, exactly.
Right.
The ones that stole off land.
Well, no, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about the nature of diversity. See, y'all, here's a good issue. Like, for instance, if I said to you, how do you know that Africans are the first people? How do you know that? Can anybody prove that to me right now? Can you prove to me that Africans are the first people? What proof do you have? Anybody?
Dr. Ben said it.
He said, Dr. Ben said it.
Right. That's true.
Now in the courtroom, wait a minute, hold on. In the courtroom, that would be called hearsay. How does hearsay work in the courtroom?
Not at all.
Not at all. Come on, let's go. Anybody else?
Genetically.
He said genetically, one. Anybody else?
Original.
Original like what? What do you mean original? How did they get to be original? What does that mean?
What, got anthropology.
Right.
Yeah, but the issue is you just throwing out words. Anthropology. I'm saying is that when I say proof, I mean evidence. Like if I said that, could you give me proof that Ray is here? Evidence. That's evidence. Physical material remains are called evidence. But listen to this. Listen to me clearly.
Artifact.
Physical material remains are evidence. An event is evidence. Facts are the interpretation of that evidence. That's what facts are. Don't get facts mixed up with evidence.
Dr. Ubenga and Dr. Diop
Who that?
has provided sufficient evidence. Ivan Van Sertima. So we've got Diop, Ubenga, and Van Sertima. They've provided the evidence for us.
Yeah, the issue is we're not talking about what they did. I'm talking about what you did. And I'm saying is that you have to be the individual with the evidence and understand the mechanics of the evidence in order to circulate it. You can't rely on that. Wait a minute. Let me finish.
Don't go back and forth
That's
with
right.
him, Dr. Munderson.
What we trying to do is being able to understand the mechanics of the discipline. What Dr. Ben and what Dr. Diop did for us is provide us the skills of research and study, and then left it up to us to go do the work.
Secondary.
But there's a lot of individuals who rely only on them, as if though they don't have to do any work. We could just say, Doc Ben. No, that's not how it works.
Or trust.
Real information is based on your clarity of understanding it. Do not mistake knowing something for understanding it. Let me say that again. Do not mistake knowing something for understanding it. If I asked anybody in this room, would you like to know yourself or understand yourself?
Understanding much deeper.
The only reason we say know thyself because that's been what has been propagated to us. Even the term, right now, they've been saying it for years. Know thyself is on the pyramid. There's no such a goddamn saying on no pyramid, on no tomb, nowhere. Nowhere. Show it. Show the hieroglyphic. Show the Medu Neter translation of that on the tomb wall. Show it. That's why you don't hear no real scholar use the word Willie Lynch. You ain't never hear Leslie Alexander use Willie Lynch. You ain't never hear Nicole Hannah Jones use Willie Lynch. You ain't never hear Ta-Nehisi Coates use Willie Lynch. You ain't never hear Jelani Cobb Willie Lynch. You ain't never heard Gerald Horn Willie Lynch. Never. These are seasoned academicians who understand the training method of history. And they ain't gonna run around with no crap and use that as a basis for who we are and what we represent.
Now, proven an African.
Say that again?
Proven who is an African, proven.
Right. In other words, what proves that is evidence pertaining to its human evolutionary development in Africa and its diversity. So when you say Africans in Africa, there's more different kinds of Africans in Africa than there are human beings on Earth. That means you can't go outside of Africa and find features that are not originally from Africa. It's not what I say. This is not some romanticism with, history. This is about what the science says. So you can go look at the science, and the science will bear me out in regard to showing the diversity is more prominent in Africa than anywhere on Earth. We're going to have the tallest, the shortest. We're going to have the fattest, the skinniest. We're going to have the darkest, the lightest. Of every texture. Curly hair, skinny hair, straight hair, thin lips. Y'all running around thinking that there's some prototype for black people, like they gotta have big lips. Or they gotta have kinky hair. It's not how it works. Not if you understand the science and you understand us as a people. And you limit us to only this. We not this. We are everything. And when you make and paint yourself into a corner like that, what you do is you limit your ability to see yourself for who you really are. So what we do is, when we take information like this, information that we didn't check, information that was not verified, what we do is we create fictitious storylines that have no value.
Fallacy.
How many of y'all ever watched the movie Roots? Everybody? Ever watched the movie Roots?
Yeah, the whole world watched it.
That's right.
How many of y'all ever read the book?
True. I believe.
What kind of book is it? You read it? You said you read it, right?
Yes, sir.
What kind of book is it?
It's an history.
No, it's not.
Fiction.
It's correct. It's a novel. See, this is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that if you don't check, you're going to get caught up in the run of the mill. Even if you Google it now, they won't even say it's actual fiction. They'll say it's faction, which is stupid. Because all fiction is faction. Because all fiction uses real events and they mix it up with imaginational or hypothetical events, and they create a storyline. That's what fiction is. But we all know at the end of it all, it's all a story. It's untrue. It's like Jesus. It's not true.
What you talking about, Trust?
What you talking about, Trust? That's because we didn't go and check it. Did Alex Haley put his family in the story? Yes. Is his family from Africa? Yes. But is the story fictional? Yes. So much that he got sued for it.
Twice.
Dr. Jacobs.
The first person that sued them was the sister that wrote Jubilee, Margaret Walker. She the first one. The guy that ended up winning was the white boy.
White boy.
That's right. I'll tell you how deep it is. That the original manuscript that was written to Roots and handwritten, Anita Baker got it in her house right now. Anita Baker, the singer. Because when it was going up for probate, she and some other individuals was from Detroit decided that they would go and purchase the material, her and her lawyer. And her lawyer is also the individual who also got the extra copies of Autobiography of Malcolm X that wasn't put in the book. See, remember, Alex wrote that.
Right, the Schomburg.
Y'all think everything went in the book,
Right.
but it didn't.
It was on display at the Schomburg.
That's true.
That lawyer was also the lawyer for Rosa Parks.
Okay.
What's the lawyer's name?
I can't remember right now, but you check. You can go find that out. It's light action.
It'll
That's
come
light.
to him. It'll come to him.
It's light action. You can find it. But the issue is that information gives us an understanding on how we need to look at history. You know how many people think Roots is really actual history?
They say he was sued for plagiarism.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the issue is that's the idea of what fiction is. Fiction is I take some real events and I create a storyline about it, about some shit that never happened. The reason people go for it because of the things that are real, not the things that are untrue. They put that as a byproduct. But what we do is we get caught up into the byproduct. We don't look at the real material. So it's easy for us to take Willie Lynch and run with it. To take there was a guy by the name of John Hanson, the first black president, and run with it. The guy told me on 125th I'm selling books. He gonna tell me that John Hanson was the first black president, and the only reason I wouldn't believe it because I don't want to accept hidden history.
So what kind of history?
It's a trick.
Hidden history. He said it. He said that. I said, well, you really think that is true? So he said, well, why you don't think it's true? I said, because logic don't tell me. I said, there's a thing in real reality called logic. Now that don't mean that in every aspect, in every incident, in every case, that it's 100%. But basically, mostly, all the time, it come out pretty right. It come out pretty right. And logic say that white people of power and influence leaving a place because of persecution, coming somewhere else, and they the top dogs. They are the top dogs. Why would they make a black there ahead of them? It don't make sense.
It's not logical.
No. And we wouldn't even sit down and entertain that, but we were so enthralled with getting a person of renowned stature and painting in black. We did it. All you would have to do is find out where the goddamn photograph comes from. We didn't even do that. Here's a guy they took a picture of it. They took a picture, a photograph of this guy. But they say this is the guy that signed the Articles of Confederation in 1781. 1781. Photography didn't come into play until 1810.
Where did the picture come from?
What are we talking about? Where did he get the photograph? Well, what Trust do? Trust went and looked it up. Found out that the guy who took the photograph was Augustus Washington. That photograph you see of this black man on a portrait of what is called a daguerreotype portrait. Daguerreotype. It's a methodology that was created by Louis de Guerre in France.
That's right.
It was Augustus Washington that revolutionized that technique here in America. He was from Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton. Father was a black man, mother was an Asian. He was the guy that not only took that picture, he took the picture of all of the first individuals that repatriated back to Liberia and made it a nation state. J.J. Jenkins and all of them. He took the pictures. What I also found out that John Hanson was a senator in Bassa County, Liberia. Bassa County, Liberia. Now, how the hell you gonna be a senator in Liberia and president in the United States? But the deepest thing is, they said that he signed the Articles of Confederation in 1781.
And sent it to America.
Well, let me finish. There were two John Hansons. One was white, one was black. They happened to both be living in Maryland. Neither one of them knew each other. The only difference was the white boy was from the Netherlands or the Dutch, one of them places. But he was born in 1715 and he died in 1783. 1715 and he died in 1783. The black guy wasn't born until listen to this, to 18, let me get it right. 1783, 17, he was born in 1793, 10 years later. That's when the black guy was born, 1793. He lived, I think, 68 years or something like that. But the significance is that he couldn't have signed the Articles of Confederation because he wasn't even born. Now, where did Trust get the information? Trust got the information from the the National Archives. Down in the National Archives, they have all of the photographs of Augustus Washington. They had him on exhibit down in the Rotunda, down in Washington, D.C. They got a whole particular setup specifically to Augustus Washington and his daguerreotype photographs. They are famous. We didn't even go check it out. This is what I'm saying about being able to get it right. To tell the story and know that the story is authentic. To know that we are talking about individuals that we can verify. And like I said, when you ask basic fundamental questions that would at least give you basic fundamental answers, why did we not go and do the work? I had Dick Gregory say that John Hanson existed. Dick Gregory.
Noted guy too.
Y'all, come on now.
Came to the UAM one.
That's right. No bull. Yeah, but the issue is, that if I said to you, is Dr. Ben a trained historian? What would you say? Trained.
No.
Stop it. Stop it. Y'all know, where did he go to school?
He was trained.
That's correct, he was trained. Stop it, y'all. When I say trained, I mean have an academic experience. And those individuals that didn't have academic experience, they laid the foundation for individuals who don't have academic experiences. So let's take a guy who have academic experience. We say a guy like W.E.B. Du Bois. Did he have academic experience?
Yes.
Right. Hubert Harrison, did he have academic experience?
No.
Say that again?
Was he an
No.
autodidact?
He said no, and that's correct. He was an autodidact.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Does Dr. Ben also teach in a college?
Yes, of course he does. Cornell University, a few other ones.
I think
Mary
Hunter
Evans, a few
College
others.
Also, Hunter College.
Hunter too, yes. Dr. Clark, definitely, 100%. But what I'm saying is that I'm talking about there is individuals who go through a training in regard to a methodology. Let's take a guy like Dr. Clark, who had, in his early days, no formal training. When I say formal, meaning in an academic institution. But he had the best scholars around him, from Leo Hansberry to, Alonzo Schomburg. That's right, all of these individuals were there, tuteling him on the way, getting what he needed to know.
How about Simmons?
Say that again? Same, never mind. All of these individuals. And that's not to negate the fact. Myself, I never went to no institution, never went to no formal education, never did 5 minutes in no college. But that's not to say I don't understand about formal training in regard to the discipline and what that means in regard to circulating and disseminating and dispensing information in a proper context. And what problem it is that people think you can get on YouTube, get you a podcast, or go in the corner in 125th Street and bust off some and you a scholar. I'm telling you, it's a whole bunch of them. We call them armchair scholars. And the reason that is because the real scholars, they don't spend time with nonsense like. They just don't. Do you ever hear Gerald Horn talking about, Willie Lynch or the first, here's a good one, I'm pretty sure that many of y'all are familiar with J.A. Rogers. Y'all know J.A. Rogers?
Yes.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Know J.A. Rogers. You ever heard of the 5 Negro Presidents?
Oh.
Y'all ever read the 5 Negro Presidents? J.A. Rogers. Little pamphlet book. But most of that shit was wrong.
Okay.
That didn't come from him.
Listen. Let me ask y'all a question. Who lived during that time? When he wrote that book, who was living? Was Du Bois living? Y'all been smoking something. Something wrong with y'all. Du Bois wrote the Souls of Black Folk in 1905. Come on. See, we don't even know where we at in history. Remember, time and geography. Time and geography. Your first thing you want to know about history is time and geography, and get it right. So if you don't know where the guy was, or who the guy is, or what time it is, we don't get it. So when something is written, there are people of that caliber that are there at the time. Most of the individuals of required thinking, of intellectual thinking, no. Versus one. So I'm going to give you another one. This is a hypothetical that went on during that time that come to be, the fruition of it comes to now. Now, there was a guy by the name of William Wells Brown. William Wells Brown. Great historian, self-taught, like Frederick Douglass, all of that. He wrote a book called The President's Daughter. The President's Daughter. And the book was about Thomas Jefferson and Sally Hemings.
Yes.
It was a novel that went on for a long time, all through history, that they were trying to validate whether Thomas Jefferson actually had black kids. Now, through history, that was defined as a non-issue. And until, what's her name, Ribot? I can't remember her first name. She wrote a major book on it, but one of the significance that put it all to rest was when they did a genetic test and found out that those children were Thomas Jefferson's children.
Exactly.
DNA.
Now, throughout history, there's going to always be controversy in regard to issues until we get evidence to verify an event. And for a long time, it could be suspect. But as a historian, that's the way you're supposed to leave it, suspect. And you're supposed to tell people that this information is suspect. It's not the issue of whether you have evidence or not. The issue is that if you're telling the truth, if you tell people that this is not legitimate, even if you trying to say something, which I don't suggest you do, but you want to be able to couch it in, I don't know, I'm not sure. A news agency will say this when they get first view. Well, we can't validate this, but it says that so-and-so. That means they're covering their butt to say that if we get it wrong, we only got it wrong because we didn't know. You get what I'm saying? But we don't do that. We just take it and run with it and then find out later it's wrong and then don't want to fess up and say it's wrong. So when we read Willie Lynch and find out that it was a bunch of bull, and then you got a guy told me, he said, well, I don't care if it was wrong. What was done to our community was still bad, and that's the concept. I said, no, that's not how you work that. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's not how we do math. Real math is 1 and 1 is 2. Tell the damn truth. That's all you gotta do. And the issue is that why burden yourself with untruths when your history is so long and so rich? Well, nobody here for 8 million years. You by yourself. But yet you running around trying to determine whether Cleopatra was black or not. Y'all just crazy to me. That's crazy.
Empire they own?
Well, you don't even do that. Anybody ever knew who Cleopatra's parents were? Who were they?
Oh, right. Good question. I forgot.
No, most of us ain't never looked to find out.
True.
Is Cleopatra African?
Macedonia.
Now I'm asking y'all, is Cleopatra African?
Yes.
Macedonia.
What makes her African?
She was Egyptian.
Her location.
Macedonia.
Who said that?
The location.
You said the location.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If I take 2 Chinese people right now and bring them to Africa and they have a baby, is that an African Chinese baby?
I would say yes.
You would say yes, you'd be wrong too.
Right.
Because you know them Chinese people ain't gonna never say them kids is African.
They don't have to
Well,
claim.
what if it's
but
It's not an issue of claiming, the issue is the reality. Let me ask you a question. If you take a German Shepherd, right, and another German Shepherd,
Here we go.
and you take that German Shepherd to China, right, and it have puppies, are they called German Shepherd Chinese puppies?
Oh, gotcha.
No, they just German Shepherds in China, that's it.
That's right.
How we all of a sudden we get to be something else?
Americans.
Because we buy into it. We buy into it. And I keep telling you that African people are the most diverse people on the planet. Go right now, most of the individuals that study science study what we would call the study of molecular biology and the study of phenotype. That means what you look like on the outside. And the issue is that most of us don't understand how individuals got to be black. We think that blackness is only unique to Africans. You know that, that's what we think. What made, if I ask you right now, what is the most unique thing that made Africans black?
The sun.
Say that again?
The sun.
I agree with that. And remember, what did I say about history? You need what?
Proof.
No.
Evidence.
No. Time and what?
Right.
Right. And he said what?
Sun.
How long has sun been?
Yeah, but the issue is that he said sun. That's one, but where's the place?
Egypt.
No. Egypt is somewhere else.
Right. Okay.
The issue is this. What makes an African is what we call the equator.
Oh, right.
And the thing he talking about, the sun. Now, if I asked you right now, any one of y'all, are there any other countries on the equator other than Africa?
Ecuador.
Yes.
True.
Get out of here.
What'd you say, Willie?
Ecuador.
All I'm saying is that we have to look at the logic of the science. Sometimes it takes time to take the history book and put it over here and then pick up the science book and look at science. Because science is validated. It's becoming that particular tool that's giving you the evidence that you need to validate your particular point of view. So all the positions that you take about Africa being the earliest, the beginning, the origin, science did that. And I'm not saying that it was irrespective to the people. I'm talking about science is the one that explained it for us. So when we talk about a personality like Shahantaju, then we're talking about an individual who understands molecular biology, who understands population genetics, who understands the very nature of phenotypical transformations based on time and what? Place. So that way he knows and understands what should be versus what is. Versus us just taking a position, painting people black. That's what we do. Oh, he was black, he was black, and he was black, and he was black. And it's only funny that the ones that y'all come up with that's black are the ones y'all want to make good big. They got some cold gangsters that are black. Cold. I don't never hear y'all talk about it. Baddest gangster I ever knew is named Casper Holstein.
Bad dude. Bad.
Y'all don't know Casper Holstein?
I never heard of him.
You never heard of Eddie Jones?
No.
Listen, do yourself a favor. If you really want to know Harlem, I want y'all to go to YouTube. Listen, right now. Go. I want y'all to write this down. Write it down right now. Write it down. I want you to go to YouTube and look for the Harlem Renaissance and the Underground. Listen to me. The Harlem Renaissance and the Underground. The Harlem Renaissance and the Underground. See, all of what you knew about the Renaissance was on top of the ground. What I'm telling you is what they were standing on in order to have all that fun they was doing up there on the ground. Well, you're going to read about the jokers that was making it happen. We talking about gangsters on a real level. How many knew about Bonnie Madden? Y'all know Bonnie Madden?
Ooh, spell it.
Bonnie Madden. If you don't know Bonnie Madden, you don't know the Cotton Club.
Okay.
Because he owned it.
Brother.
No, a white boy ain't no brother that owned no Cotton Club. Where you been?
Back in the day. Back in the
Come
day.
on, bro. You know that.
That's who owned it now.
You know who originally owned the Cotton Club? The original owner? But it wasn't called the Cotton Club. It was called the Patron Deluxe or something like that. That was Jack Johnson.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack Johnson owned the club. It was 142nd Street.
The boxer.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And he sold it to Bonnie Madden. That's how the gangster got it.
What was it called?
Listen, forget it. The Renaissance and the Underground is going to tell you all about it. You're going to read, you're going to find all the stuff I'm telling you, you're going to find on that documentary.
That document. That's a document.
That's correct. It's a documentary. It's called the Harlem Renaissance and the Underground. It will blow you away. See, y'all, when y'all think of gangsters, y'all only think of Madam Stephen Sinclair or Bumpy Johnson.
Yeah, I was just
Listen, she couldn't sell no numbers if it wasn't for Casper Holstein because he created the number game. And he got it from the Cubans.
And it wasn't in the movie.
Bruh, let me tell you. Eddie Jones, y'all don't know Eddie Jones? Shh.
Yo, man.
Man, we talking about Chicago's finest. Al Capone, all them jokers respect Eddie Jones.
Okay, say the name of that documentary film.
The name of the documentary is called The Harlem Renaissance and the Underground. Put it in your phone right now to come up. Just put it on YouTube. The Harlem Renaissance and the Underground.
Who put that together?
Don't ask me anything. That's your job. That's your job now. See?
You got work to do, baby.
That's it. Y'all know Trust ain't gonna come here and not give you no homework now. Come on. Stop it. And what these kind of documentaries do is they provide for you insight for you to go and do more legwork. My first introduction to Casper Holstein was through a sister by the name of Irma Watkins Owens. Irma Watkins Owens. She wrote a book called The Harlem and the Caribbean. Oh, let me think. Harlem and the Caribbean. Oh, I can't even remember that. But all you got to do is look up Irma Watkins Owens. Her material will come up. But the thing about her, she wrote this book about the early Harlem Renaissance and a lot of the Caribbean individuals that had came to Harlem. And in it, she talked about stepladder speakers, you know, who created soapbox speaking and all of that, and individuals who were the movers and the shakers of the day. And they were talking, everybody was talking about this, this guy. Where did Ray Ray go?
Right here, right.
Tell him that the video went out. And, oh damn, I lost my chain of thought. And that, Irma Watkins Owens, in that she wrote a chapter in the book about stepladder speaking. And then also she wrote an article about the black market, the gangsters in the neighborhood. Like,
what happened, True?
Oh, she's in the book.
Yeah, she wrote the book.
Oh.
Yeah, Irma Watkins Owens is the individual who wrote the book. But she also talked about, you know, these individuals who were the major personalities of the day and what and how they was moving and shaking during that time. And what happens is that nobody ever thinks of, when we talk about the Harlem Renaissance, who financed it? You know, who was paying loot? How did all of these events take place?
Gangsters, huh?
You know, one of the key factors of rent parties, y'all don't know nothing about. When you hear that, you're gonna find out about rent parties in a whole different kind of way. I mean, in a way you would never believe. The Cotton Club was created as a result of rent parties. That's what it was created as. To offset rent parties. In Harlem, they used to have 2,000 rent parties every weekend.
I need one now.
2,000?
You hear what I just said? 2,000. You know how many rent parties, and each joker was trying to sell liquor, have music and dance, and make money. And listen, you could imagine what was going on in Harlem on a weekend.
And period.
And the gangsters sitting on the side like looking at all this money. Look at where these things going, man. They making all this freaking money.
And the Italians was looking at it too.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, the Italians didn't get involved because they didn't know nothing about it yet. See, remember, Italians don't get involved into the number game until late, after Al Capone goes to jail. When Al Capone goes to jail, what happens is that Tony Accardo is the guy who takes over. They used to call him Joey the Bat. They called him that because anytime Al Capone got in problem, he would go beat the joker with a baseball bat. That was his aim, Tony Accardo. And what had happened was, Tony was the right-hand man to Al Capone, and Tony thought that Al was too flamboyant. He was always out there dressing in these fancy clothes, telling everybody who he got in his pocket, and you know, all of this crazy stuff. And he said that it brought too much heat on them. So when Al Capone went to jail and Tony took over, he decided that he was going to move the whole operation from Chicago proper to the suburbs. And that he himself would not be the face of the mob, he would be in the background. And he would let this guy by the name of Sam Giancana, he would be the face for the mob.
Yes.
Sam Giancana became the little short joke about this big. They used to call him Mooney. Mooney was in jail with Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones was the premier gangster in Harlem, black boy, knew everything. He was the one that was started number running in Chicago. And at that time, the Italian mobsters, remember, Prohibition had literally went extinct. And they had lost all of this revenue that they was getting on bootleg, and now liquor free, you know? So the issue is that they trying to fill this vacuum of not having, you know, bootleg revenue coming into the game. And while he was in jail with Eddie Jones, Sam Giancana found out about number running and decided that they would get involved.
So depression, did that put a dent in it?
Do you know it, my brother? Depression is what created all of that. You know, in regard to the alcohol, the underground, bootleg, and everything, all of that came out of that. Prior to that, gangsters wasn't nowhere. There wasn't no gangsters. You know, gangsters didn't come until bootlegging became a major issue. Prior to that, they was strong-arm jokers. You know, had these little stealing here, stealing there, was nothing. But when bootlegging came in, that's when money became really, you know, organized. And remember, don't think of Chicago the same way you think of New York in gangsters. Two different halls. And remember, what became gangsters in Chicago are individuals who came from New York, because Al Capone is from Brooklyn. He came from Chicago.
Came from Red Hook.
That's right. And he was a strong-arm joker. And the reason they went to Chicago was to challenge the Irish mob. That's what it was all about.
Purple did?
I can't remember, to be frank. I'm just giving you the basics. And what you can do is you can go and investigate this, because there's a lot of material that's available, written as well as visual, that will give you information about the early, you know, Italian mobs and the Irish and the Jewish gangsters, you know, all of those individuals. Because it's Lucky Luciano that brings in the Jewish boys.
What is step market speaking?
Say that again?
Unless I heard it wrong. Step market speaking?
No, step ladder speaking.
Oh, step ladder.
Right. In other words, those are individuals who stood on the corner and taught history and politics and science to the world.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Malcolm wasn't nowhere born. He wasn't born yet. Right. We talking about the guys, we talking about Esmeralda Robeson. That's Paul Robeson's wife. We talking about Claudia Jones. We talking about Elizabeth Gurley Flynn. We talking about Hubert Harrison. We're talking about Richard B. Moore. These are individuals who were living during that time and were the movers and shakers. The movers and shakers wasn't 125th Street. It was 134th Street and Lenox Avenue. Where you see the Schomburg Library, that was the step corner speaker corner right there. And matter of fact, the reason that I was so encouraged with Hubert Harrison was because I read an article in the New York Times, 1921, where he was speaking on the street corner and galvanized 11,000 people. Wow. And where he used to speak at, he used to speak right underneath J.P. Morgan's office. And when he looked out the window and had seen all these people, he was like, what the hell going on? He said, some nigga down there talking. He said, what are you talking about? He said, he talking about everything. He said everything. He said, this boy talking about science, anthropology, literature, theater. He talked about education. He talked about everything.
Who's that? Hubert Harrison?
Hubert Harrison. He's the first black man that got his face on a science magazine in Germany. Hubert Henry Harrison.
I'm saying in Germany? Wow.
In Germany.
He was a socialist, right?
That's correct. One of the baddest. Well, one of the books that Ray showed you was one of the books that he talked about. I mean, not one of the books, the organizations, UNIA, and he made reference of race first. But race first is not Marcus Garvey's quote. Race first is a Hubert Harrison quote, because it has nothing to do with nationalism, it has to do with socialism, because they always looked at class first. That was their concept and their motto. And what Harrison did was, he was a part of them. He was the individual who was the national spokesman for Eugene Debs, who ran for president 3 times as a communist. And that black man was his national spokesman.
Eugene Debs was a white cat.
That's correct. And a black man, 100 Midnight Black, was his spokesman. That's right. Now, the reason that Hubert got pissed was because he found out that the white boys that was around him, that was speaking on different occasions, was getting more money than he was getting. And he spoke better than them. He was way more intelligent than them. He knew all of the material. He said, and these jokers, ass from their elbow. He said, y'all running around here talking about communism and socialism and class and all of that. He said, and y'all said y'all ain't about race. Y'all really about race as much as y'all about class. So if y'all about race, if y'all as much about class, I'm going to be about race. So race first. That's what he came up with. That's what Hubert Harrison did. That, and Garvey got it from him. Okay. How did Garvey get to Harlem? It was Hubert Harrison that introduced him to the Harlem community. Okay. Hubert Harrison was the individual who had the Liberty League, his organization called the Liberty League, and he had a flag. The flag was black, brown, and yellow. And why was it black, brown, and yellow? Because Harrison said those were all of the shades of black people in America. And then Marcus Garvey created red, black, and green.
August 13, 1920.
I'm telling you. The issue is that all you got to do, if you read Robert Hill, anybody know Robert Hill?
Oh, yes.
Right. What did Robert Hill? He'll tell you what Robert Hill wrote. His magnum opus.
What's the name of it?
He wrote a book. He wrote a book. In books, when you wrote the best book you ever wrote is called the magnum opus. That means your best. Yes. Right. So his best is called the UNIA Papers. It's 8 volumes.
Wow.
We're not talking about kids play here. We're talking about real scholarship on a level you can't imagine. Robert Hill. Robert Hill. He also wrote some small pieces too. But that book is his main objective. And Robert Hill, in his book, in them volumes, he talks about Marcus Garvey getting the flag from Ireland. I'm telling you, man, this is what he said. I'm like, Robert, come on now. You think he was closer to Ireland than he was to Harrison? What are you, stupid?
But those colors are Jamaican colors, in
What?
terms of flag, red, black, and green.
No, those are not Jamaican colors.
That's not Jamaican.
No, you know that's not Jamaican. That's red, gold, and green, my dear.
Gold and green.
Yes. And those are not Jamaican colors either. Them African colors.
That's right.
Because most of the African flags, they're going to have yellow, green, and red.
Including
Most of them.
white and blue is stolen from Africa too.
See, that's what I'm saying. Everything stolen from Africa.
Yeah.
Everything. You know. And Africans, did they steal them colors from plants? Let me stop.
But you may be right there.
Huh?
Africans are naturopathic.
That's right.
Say that again.
Africans are naturopathic people.
All people are. Shit, what else they had?
More so like.
No, the issue is that always remember, I keep telling you, time and place. Time and place. Your place literally gives you the opportunity to do things in a particular way that maybe other places couldn't. But that don't mean that you wasn't doing it. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, that there were particular practices of healing properties that went on in Europe. They were different based on the environment and the conditions that existed there. But to say they didn't do nothing, that's just not true.
So we already proved that the early man started in Africa. We proved that here, right?
Did we prove it?
Yeah.
No, I can prove it, but y'all didn't prove anything.
We proved it.
What?
We talked about, we said that we could find people from all over Africa.
Huh?
You can find every person in Africa from all over the world.
No. What I'm saying is that I said that, not y'all. And remember, the proof is the evidence. So when we make reference to the oldest remains, like for instance, how many of y'all know Lucy?
Yes.
Right.
They could have.
No, that's not true.
That's not true? Okay.
Right. Again, see, this is what I'm saying. Leakey has nothing to do with Lucy.
Okay.
Leakey worked in a place called Olduvai Gorge. That's in Kenya and Tanzania. Right.
Yeah, bro.
Lucy was found by Donald Johanson, 1974.
Let him do the lecture, please.
And Donald Johanson in Ethiopia, Afar Valley in Ethiopia. Two different places, completely. Right. Lucy is like last weekend compared to the oldest remains in the world. Right. Now, we're talking about Lucy 3.5 million years old. You get what I'm saying? 3.5 million. But Lucy is old news. Don't nobody use Lucy no more because it's
All
old.
right, somebody got their thing on.
The new is about
somebody got their thing
7
on.
to 8 million years old now. That's the new finds. You know, Ruminis, Chadgenesis, a whole variety, Heidelbergensis, all these different particular various species that developed at specific times that provide enough what we call concrete evidence to validate that these particular groups of people lived at a particular span of time. So when we talk about Leakey's family, that's Louis the father, Mary the mother, Richard the son, and Mabe the wife-in-law of Richard. They all anthropologists. They call them the first family of anthropology. That's what they call them. But they don't have nothing to do with Leakey. I mean, nothing to do with Lucy, excuse me. And that family specifically has their area in a geographical place that is completely different. And this is why I said when we study our history, we want to get it right. That's our major concern. We want to get it right. We don't want to be talking about something, and somebody who really knows about the subject matter, they're going to be sitting on the side saying, this don't know what a goddamn thing he's talking about. You know, like, I'll tell you the one that gets me most of all is we're melanated people.
White people have melanin.
Everybody has melanin. Only people that don't have melanin are albinoids, or what we would call albinos.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that is. Write this down, write this down. I want y'all to look up these two people. This is dealing with melanin. This is dealing with the origin of skin. This is dealing with how we got to look the way we look. The first woman, her name is Sarah, first name, last name Tishkoff. Tishkoff, Sarah Tish, Tishkoff. Sarah Tishkoff.
What's that?
Tish. Tishkoff. Koff.
European.
That's correct. That's correct.
She's a scientist?
No, these are the leading experts in the world on this study.
Okay.
We're not talking about fly-by-nights. We're not talking about some, college professor. We're talking about the leading authorities in these areas of study and research. The next person is Nina Jablonski.
Nina.
N-I-N-A. Nina Jablonski.
Spell the last name?
Jobanski, I think it is. Hold on, let me.
Say that again.
Hold on, let me. Here's my No, Jobanski or SKY. Yeah, I wanted to get my bag. 1 second. Because I wanted to make sure that you get it the correct spelling.
It's Jabloski.
You got it?
Jablonski, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Spell it for him, Abdul.
J like in Jane, A like in apple, B like in boy, L like in lady, O like in Oscar, N like in Nancy, S like in Shirley, K like in king, I like in ice.
Okay. Y'all got it now?
Nah, you gotta say that again.
Say it again for me.
Chance and justice.
Come on, we gotta make sure they
J
get
like in
information.
Jane, J like in Jane, A like in apple, B like in boy, L like in lady, O like in Oscar, N like in Nancy, S like in Shirley, K like in King, and I like in ice cream.
No, Jablonski.
J-A-B-L-O-N-S-K-I.
Yeah. Yes,
Spell it for him again, Abdul.
J like
As in
in
justice.
justice, okay. A like in apple, B like in boy, L like in lady, O like in Oscar, N like in Nancy. It went out.
S.
What I say? S like in
Sam.
S like in Sam, K like in King, I like in ice cream.
There you go.
And she, what is this person?
Nina Jablonski, she is the leading expert on the study of skin. S-K-I-N, skin. Sarah Tishkoff is the leading authority on the studying of
Melanin.
not melanin, just skin and human evolution. Right. In other words, she's the big dog. She's come from the University of Pennsylvania.
And she got a video on the color of human skin.
That's correct.
And the Leakey Foundation.
Correct. Look, let me just explain another thing to y'all. This is not to negate brothers like Richard King or Francis Cress Welsing or what's the name, Bynum or Ann Brown or all of these individuals who also worked in melanin. But I'm telling you about individuals who are doing current research as we speak in this area that's groundbreaking. We're talking about Francis Cress Welsing 40 years ago. Richard King 40 years ago. We talking about, you get where I'm going? And that's not to negate their accomplishments. They did great things in these areas of study. And there are some that are also doing some now. But what I am saying, these individuals are on the cutting edge of that particular area of research and study. And it behooves you to familiarize yourself with those. It's like saying now that the oldest remains in the world are Lucy. Jokers would look at you like, she like, 50 years old.
So does she go into the origins or the Caucasoids?
Listen, the issue,
beyond that.
the issue is here, we're talking about where does outward appearance, phenotype come from? How do we have it? She looked at the very nature of why skin is skin in Africa, and then how it got to be everywhere else in the world. She gives you the genetic breakdown and the code combinations creating these particular various color combinations. It's like saying that we think that Khoisan, or who know who the Khoisan people are?
Is that the white man?
No.
South Africa.
Right.
Like Mandela.
Not like Mandela. What I'm saying is that, and what you're saying like Mandela, meaning that they come from the same group of people, yes. But not like Mandela in regard to they come from the exact particular people. The reason I'm saying that is because we look at people based on color. That's what we do, because that's what our experience was. But the world don't do that. The world does not look at their experience as color, because that's not how that wasn't their experience. Ours were experience based on color.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So that's how we gonna view the world. But don't assume that's how the world sees themselves. So because you might see 5 different colors and then call them black. If I asked anybody in here, I had a box full of crayons, and I told you to pick the black crayon, would you pick the brown one? Would you? Would you pick the beige one? Would you pick the orange one? Would you pick the yellow one? Which color would you pick if I said pick the black crayon?
Literally black.
Right.
I never understood why we signed off on that.
Well, we signed off on it because we had no alternative. The reason that is that it was designated to us. The issue is that, let's be honest, do you have a choice to determine how your kids come out? You don't have no choice. No. it's a hodgepodge based on genetics. Genetics, that means you give 23 chromosomes and your husband give 23 chromosomes.
Right.
When they get together, nature shakes it up like dice and throws it out.
Usually
and
on a Friday night.
the kids that come out are a combination of your chromosomes as him. That DNA is only unique to that child. He's gonna have some of your DNA, yes. He's gonna have some of his DNA, yes. But it ain't gonna be 50-50. It's gonna be based on whatever the genetic code that he has made up for him is in him. That's how he's gonna tell that he's your son, and how he's gonna be able to tell that he is his grandkid's son. Father. Same way. So what we have to do is we have to be clear about what the process is. So when we understand that Africa is the most versatile, diversified place on earth, that means there's more kinds of people in Africa than anywhere else on earth. And to say that black people only have black skin, or black people only have kinky hair. The oldest people in the world today, the living oldest people in the world are not designated black. They're designated red. Right. Those are the Khoisan people from the Kalahari, or what we call Namibia. Those individuals who have clicked languages, those individuals have what are called pheomelanin. Anybody know melanin? What's the difference between eumelanin and pheomelanin?
Hue is pigment.
No. Eumelanin is black and brown. Pheomelanin is red and orange. Case closed. One of the oldest people have pheomelanin, not black, not you, pheomelanin.
Spell that. What you saying? Spell that.
PH.
So they don't.
PH.
Oh, so you trying to plug yourself in somewhere?
PHEO, I think it is. Or you just look up. Just put in eumelanin, and it's gonna come up. Because it's going to show you that there's only two kinds.
Yeah.
And then you got pheomelanin and you have eumelanin.
U as in H-U-E?
Say that again.
How are we spelling the U?
The hue is H-U-E.
No, eumelanin, EU. Right. Y'all, I keep telling y'all writing stuff down. Use them devices that you have available. It's called a phone. Okay. And once you put in the material, most of this material is going to come up.
Now.
Yes, sir. Khoi. K-H-O-I. Khoi. Just put in K-H-O-I and put koi, and it'll come up.
K-H-O-I.
Right. That's called, and then you can put san, koi san, S-A-N. Right. And what'll come up is that particular people. They're the oldest people on earth today.
That's the Kalahari Desert in Africa.
Right, Kalahari Desert, Namibia, Botswana, in that particular area.
Right, Botswana.
Now how that happened?
That's
Okay.
That's ain't that where Buddha-Lazy, the Zulus, or is that further down? Botswana is above.
Well, you got Botswana, you got what is it?
And then we get the.
Oh God! All of them, the southern state nations.
Botswana.
Yeah. Say that again.
Botswana.
Yeah.
Botswana.
All in that particular area, but most of it represents that they still are what are called hunter and gatherers.
Right.
That means that they're not into agriculture. That shows you how far back they go in regard to tradition and culture.
But
This is South Africa, right?
Yes.
Southern, yeah. But how so is that? They become reddish brown, you said?
Yeah, but the issue is that you are making an assumption like there was some original color. I keep telling you that.
About the equator.
But that's again, what I'm saying is that it depends on where you are.
And what you
look, the issue is that right now is wintertime. Is the sun closer to us or farther away?
Further. No?
No, it was close.
That's correct.
It's closer?
Of course.
Why we ain't feeling it?
What the reason you ain't feeling it because you're on a 23 1/3 degree tilt. That's what creates seasons, that tilt. And remember, as it goes around, the whole planet Earth is not feeling it. Right now it's summertime in Australia.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it ain't blizzards in Australia. You get what I'm saying? So obviously they ain't feeling the heat that we feeling, because we ain't feeling nothing. So the issue, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to bring up, I think Antarctica, where it's 6 months, it's
That's correct.
daylight,
That's
and then
correct.
6 months,
That's correct.
it's nighttime.
That's correct.
That's it.
That's right. And the reason that is because of the tilt.
Right.
Right.
I gotta see the picture of it.
Right.
And on the spin, I gotta.
Right. You gotta realize that the Earth is 93 million miles from the sun. 93 million! And you can still feel the heat.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's 93 million miles away and you can still feel the heat.
That's the magic, right?
We don't have a clue. We think we looking up at the sky and we think we see the universe. You don't see nothing. You can't even see. You know how big the universe is? Y'all don't even have a clue. Do you know how big just this galaxy is?
Milky Way galaxy again?
Yeah, the Milky Way. You know how big it is?
I don't know, a few billion, 400 billion miles.
No, not even close. That's not even close. Let me give you a little idea. Light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Let me say that again. 186,000 miles per second. Per second.
That's fast.
Now, a light year is how fast light travels in a year. You know how many miles light travels in a year? 6 trillion. 6 trillion miles in 1 year. You know how many light years it takes to get across this galaxy? 100,000 light years. So that means you would times 100,000 times 6 trillion, and that would give you the number. We're just talking about this galaxy. You know how many galaxies they estimate in the universe? 2.5 trillion. Galaxies. I just told you 100,000 light years across. The closest galaxy to us is Andromeda. It's 220,000 light years across. And we think we special.
Yeah, because this. Yeah, you're right. We're a speck.
We ain't nothing.
Compared to this.
We ain't nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
We're baby.
What gets me,
That's it.
I'm still, did everybody get the phenolmelon and the
No, eumelanin and fail.
And fail.
Fail.
It's called pheno. Look like it says. Oh, fail. Yes,
It's fail.
PHEOMELANIN.
That's
Red, yellow, pigment.
That's right.
And the other one is eumelin. It starts with an EU.
EU.
MELANIN. That's black and brown.
That's right.
Pigment. All right.
Now the issue here is that when you look up the variations of what those melanins do, you'll understand the difference and the significance of why I keep telling you stop assuming that black people are only black. Stop it. Stop thinking that we only got big lips. Stop it. Stop thinking that we don't have thin lips, straight hair, or straight noses. You can go right now to a place called Somalia. Right now. And there's no white person who got noses more straighter than Somalians. Only difference is, those Somalians is 100 midnights black.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But those features, those physical characteristics, those features, they got them.
It's sharp. Yeah.
Right.
That's what puts me out. I'm still trying.
Yes, we always trying to assume what a black person is. Stop it. And then second, if we gonna talk about black people in color, talk about them all. That means the good ones and the bad ones. Because we only, most of the time when we talk about history, only good ones.
Yeah.
So before I go, one thing I want y'all to do. One, I want you to get this book. This book.
What's the name of that book?
The name of the book is called The Death of Willie Lynch Speech.
How much is that?
The Death. It's only $7, $6.
You got it.
Right. No, we don't have, you can get it down at.
You get it anywhere.
Yeah, you can get it downtown, or you can get it at Nicholas, or you can get it, you know, on the internet. I suggest you go to a black distributor or retailer.
How about Fulton Street next to the
Restoration.
next to Restoration?
Yeah, that's Nicholas. That's what I was telling you.
Nicholas, they would have it?
Yeah, they should have it. If they don't, she'll get it for you. I don't know. Nick.
It's the death of Willie Lynch what?
The name of it is The Death of the Willie Lynch Speech.
Okay.
Right. That means that we putting it to death. That means we had a funeral for it,
Right.
and we burying it.
Okay.
So I want y'all to remember, his name is Manu, M-A-N-U, Manu, and his last name is Pim, A-M-P-I-M.
Okay.
A-M-P-I-M.
Manu and
Manu, Pim.
A-M-P-I-M.
A-M-P-I-M. Right. Right. And the reason, again, the reason that I give this lecture to Brother Manu is because he is a stalwart practitioner of grassroots research and study. That means he prides himself on that. And all historians do, but he really takes it to a particular level. There's a new book out that just came out recently. Anybody familiar with a gentleman by the name of Robin Walker?
Yes.
Robin Walker. Do you know any of his books? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Not related to David Walker.
No, England.
No.
England.
Anybody know where? Yeah, he's from England.
When we rule the world.
Right, and Calvin is talking about, he's talking about his hold on a second. Robin Walker's magnum opus is When We Ruled the World.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
now,
When we ruled.
hold on, right. The issue about this particular book is it's a very well documented piece of work. It's really, really well done, and the photographs are excellent.
Okay.
And one of the things that I admire about our brother Robin is that he does very, very, very meticulous, detailed work. You know, this is one of his new books, as you can see here. It's called The Stories of People and Civilization, African Ancient Origins. And it says A New History by Robin Walker. The forward of this book was written by Manu Pim. Manu Pim.
What's the title again?
The title is called The Stories of Peoples and Civilization.
Hold it up again, please.
The Story of People and Civilization.
Thank you.
African Ancient Origins. African Ancient Origin. No, the origin is Robin Walker.
All right.
He's the author.
Okay,
But the guy who wrote the forward in the book, the forward is Manu Pim, the guy who I tell you who wrote The Death of Willie Lynch's Speech. And remember, the object is we putting Willie Lynch to bed, to death. In other words, y'all don't need to use that no more. That's dumb. It don't make sense. It's not true. It's not accurate. And y'all need to take that out of your system. Flush that out your system. Put it in the toilet and let it go down.
It was a fairy tale.
That's correct. And the same thing about John Hanson and the first black president. Flush it down the toilet. It is not true. And what happens is that when you go repeating nonsense, people who really know what's going on will not take you seriously. Because they know you do not know what you are talking about.
Give us a sample of what he said.
Let's do it. Fantastic. Let's hear what Brother Manu says in regard to this.
And also, before you go.
It says, since 1995, there has been much attention given to a speech claimed to be delivered by a William Lynch in 1712. This speech has been promoted widely throughout African American and Black British circles. It is reprinted on numerous websites, discussed in chat rooms, forwarded as a "did you know" email to friends and family members, assigned as requiring reading in college and high school courses, promoted at conferences, and there are several books published with the title of Willie Lynch. Addition, new terminology called the Willie Lynch syndrome has been devised to explain the psychological problems and the disunity among Black people. Further, it is naively assumed by a large number of Willie Lynch believers that this single and isolated speech, allegedly given almost 300 years ago, completely explains the internal problems and divisions within African American community. They assume that the Willie Lynch syndrome explains Black disunity and the psychological trauma of slavery, while some have questioned and even dismissed this speech from the outset. It is fair to say that the most African Americans who are aware of the speech have not questioned its authenticity and assume it to be a legitimate and very crucial historical document that explains what has happened to African Americans. However, when we examine the details of the Willie Lynch speech and its assumed influence, then it becomes clear that the belief in its authenticity and widespread adoption during the slavery era is nothing more than a modern-day myth. In this brief examination, I will show that the only known William Lynch was born 3 decades, let me say that again, 3 decades after the alleged speech. What we call that, Abdul? Anachronism. That means that the man was born 30 years after the speech was written. He couldn't have wrote it. That sounds logical, don't it?
Yeah.
But yet we giving him credit for something that he couldn't even been born to be around to do. That's because we didn't check.
That's called what? Anachronism.
Every historian knows that word, anachronism, because throughout his career, he's going to come across it numerous amounts of time. That means he's not going to just come across that name. He's going to see it being done in the reading and the research that he's doing. He's going to see it a lot.
That's A-N-E-C.
Yes.
R-O-N.
H-R-O.
But let me go on a little bit. It says the Willie Lynch speech is not mentioned by any 18th or 19th century slave master or any anti-slavery activist. There is a large body of written material from the slavery era, yet there is not one reference to William Lynch's speech given in 1712. This is a very curious because both free and enslaved African Americans wrote and spoke about the tactics and practices of white slave masters. Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner, Olajue Equiano, David Walker, Maria Stewart, Martin Delaney, Henry Highland Garnett, Richard Allen, Absalel Jones, Francis Harper, William Wells Brown, and Robert Purvis were African Americans who initiated various efforts to rise up against the slave system. Yet none cited the alleged Lynch speech. There is not a single reference to the Lynch speech by any
wind-downs can be an hour.
by any white abolitionists, including John Brown, William Lloyd Garrison, and Wendell Phillips. Yeah, some where's Ray? Yeah, cause he gonna have to mute these.
You gotta mute them, they going bananas here.
Yeah, you gotta mute some. Okay, it says that also there is not a single reference to the Lynch speech by any white abolitionists, including John Brown, William Lloyd Garrison, and Wendell Phillips. Simply, there has been an evidence ground by slave masters, pro-slavery advocates, referring to not to mention utilizing the specific divide and rule information given in the Lynch speech. Likewise, none of the most credible historians on the enslavement of African Americans have ever mentioned the Lynch speech in any of their writings. A reference to the Lynch speech and its alleged divide by rule tactics is completely missing in the works of Benjamin Quarles, John.
Hello. They sound familiar.
Hold on. Let me. Hold on. Let me get. Hold on. Let me do it, Ray. Hey, True. Can you hear me? True.
Got up to 40. Oh, okay.
True.
That's good.
True. You messed up. True.
Shit.
Hello.
I took my hat off today.
Hello.
Hold on. Let me. Yeah, that's the only way.
I ain't open mic.
True.
I'll get him.
Hello.
What's happening, Brother Walter?
Okay, Walt, you gotta be cool.
All right, Brother Brian.
Okay, Brian, y'all, you gotta be cool on the.
Y'all interrupted.
You gotta be cool, Brian, Walter.
True.
In the chat, I put down
Yeah,
the number
mute. Go ahead. You and Ceuta.
I want you to check that and see if you have the same number because I call her.
Brian.
She don't answer. She don't pick up for me.
They got their own show.
Check it out in the chat.
Anyway.
I sent you a private chat with her number.
Call her.
All right.
Cause he can't mute it.
First this call.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian.
I don't know
Walter.
if I have to trust the whole Ray's Zoom feed went offline.
Brian, Brian, it's back on, but we can hear y'all.
No, it's not. That's
Yeah, but I don't know what happened to his camera feed. It went dead.
The camera feed.
If he cut the Zoom off, we all
It's on, everything's on. Everything's
For
on.
some reason, there's no camera, nothing from him. But the Zoom is still alive.
Okay, can we hear?
Something must have happened.
He can't hear
Okay,
you.
Brian, can you hear me?
He can't hear you.
The feed went dead or something.
He can't hear you. He can't hear you. He can't hear you. What's it?
Right, but
He said the feed is dead. That's why.
Check your mute.
But how the feed can be?
Yeah, George, finish.
Okay. But anyway, we're going to close down and I'm going to read you this last little bit. And like I said, I want you to get the book because it's small. It ain't but about 65, 70 pages. You can read it in the bathroom. That's how small it is. But it's power-packed with information in regard to research and study on what you need to do when it comes down to information that you have received from anonymous sources that you want to validate the authenticity and the validity of it. That's one of the most important things you do with information. And I don't care whether it's a letter, a document, a book, you want to know where it came from and whether that material is of any significant value. You will know by how many people use the material. That means that if Willie Lynch was of significant value, the letter itself, it would have been in documents all from that particular time period. That means we would have read documents and would have said, oh, remember the Willie Lynch letter or such and such? No, You ain't hear none of that. That means, and then it uses terminologies in the letter that are 20th century terms, like refueling. How you gonna have refueling in 1912 and 1712?
He's all over the map. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no such a thing. But yet, these are certain clues that you look for when you're dealing with certain kind of information. And what we do is we try to prepare individuals with the necessary skills so that as a grassroots individual, because most of the people that I reach out to or I come in contact with, they ain't gonna be going to no college no time soon, and they ain't gonna be going to no major institution, but they still want to be able to read the material and absorb it correctly. And the best way to do that is to have the basic fundamental skills to do it. And that is, make sure you have certain equipment when you're doing research. Have a dictionary, have a map, have your phone so you can look up material. Don't worry about reading everything at once. Stop it. Stop thinking you can read everything at once. Don't do it. I'd rather you read a couple of paragraphs, put it down and think about it than try to read 5 pages and not know shit. It just don't make sense. So what you want to do is, and the older you get, you'll find out that taking your time is more beneficial. It just is, And whenever you consume information, if you're consuming it and you're not thinking about it, you're not consuming it. You're just not.
And it's an art how you read a book too.
That's it, with everything. So I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for listening to my diatribe. I want to take into consideration that I will be back in 2 weeks, and I'll give you another lecture on Malcolm and Pan-Africanism. Malcolm and Pan-Africanism. But it ain't the Malcolm you think.
But I think they want to tune into your Fridays and your Saturday classes too.
Well, okay. Those individuals that, again, would like to tune into the classes, I'll leave some cards here. And you can get in contact with our IT person, Danny, and he'll make sure that you get the link and you'll be able to tune in. That's on Fridays at 8 and on Saturday afternoons at 1. And we address, two different, we use 2 different particular texts, but a lot of times, text is not always the issue. We might be dealing with current events or women's issues or a whole bunch of things that normally is not done in a regular classroom kind of setting. And the reason we do that is we want to have the luxury and variety to address issues that are of significant importance. And sometimes those issues are not the issues of the day, you see. So those are things that we want you to be aware of. So I want to thank everybody, and let's thank Brother Ray Ray, y'all. Come on now, give Brother Ray Ray a hand. And don't forget to make sure that you give whatever you can handsomely to keep this organization and this process going.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the T-Mobile was doing some tests in the area. Sorry about it. The video will be on YouTube tomorrow.
Oh, good.
The video, all Mackey's videos and lectures is on YouTube. We want to thank Trust. I don't have a car, so we got to get him to where he got to go. And we're going to try to get him back, if he can, 2 times. He's coming in 2 more weeks. But if we could get him back before then, we're going to do it no matter what day it is. I'll make it happen because he had a very good lecture. And give him a great big hand.
Yeah.
So you can have a little conversation while I call the people back.
Yes.